Rumors spreading round United Texas town about the shack outside the game. And you know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice girls.
Hello and welcome back to another rerun here on Apex This. I'm glad that things are finally working out for me and my software. I do apologize to everybody out there who was looking forward to watching Tuesday's race. I totally blanked on it. I wish I could say that the project I was working on looks pretty good, but it most certainly does not. Look pretty crappy actually. I had to take a bunch of stuff, undo it all. And then before I realized it, it was like 8 o'clock. Crap. Anyways, so I do apologize for that. We're going to have a doubleheader today because we got the V8 Supercars coming up this evening as well. So I will be busy behind my screens today, but that's all right. We got, we're right smack dab in the beginning of qualifying here for Tuesday's Ferrari race. Apparently it was a good one. Lots of excitement going on during this race, so way to miss it. Here's Kevin San Diego, usually one of the first cars out of the pits. It looks like there's one, maybe two cars ahead of him. And we have our very exciting 15 minutes of open qualifying, of course, today. So tons of cars out on track. Probably at least 20, 25 drivers on track at the moment. 35 drivers in the lobby, so nice full grid. Perfect one to miss, Eric. 94 degrees on track. We got 40 minutes coming your way of racing followed. And it's got that 40% fuel limit. Mandating a pit stop about 25 minutes in. A nice long track here, so I doubt we will see much overcutting or anything like that. Everyone's probably going to be coming in around the same time. And do bear with me as well. We're running on a replay file here today. Hopefully we do not mess up our timeline as we select different incidents, and apparently this was a incident-packed race, so definitely want to try to do our best to cover as much as possible. At the moment, it looks like Kent's replay file holding up well, as many cars out there, so nobody's necessarily missing, as himself, of course. And here's a couple cars coming through the final sector here, coming up towards the final turn now. Kevin coming into the pits to practice something, I guess. Maybe it was a podium winner last time. Justin Atchison first across the line. Steve Zirapo is going to take pole position. But then Stan Hammonds coming out of nowhere. Welcome, Stan. He is not, this is his first race with us, so he is not in the correct lobby, of course. But Stan with a great lap there, finding all sorts of pace. And more people coming across the board. Oh, and Kevin Sandiego was punted on that new outlap. He's trying to perhaps get in the way of somebody who was maybe not on an outlap. Greg Tassos up top, Brian DeVries in second place. Stan is holding on to third. Then we have Matthew Smotherman, John Cooper, Sam Swan, Michael Harney, Steve Zirapo down in eighth now. Craig Ream and Justin Atchison making up the top 10. Carlos Lopez Jr. hits the line. Unable to get on the board, though. It was not going to be a clean one for him. Here's Daniel Towell having issues with somebody else out there. And it's John Miller. They're just these two teammates, probably both having to start from the back of the grid, just dicking off. Justin Torres across the line. He's going to push Ty down a spot here. Carlos Lopez Jr. into the wall, so this is definitely not going to be a clean lap for him. Roman Bykoff moving up a couple spots up to 21st. Corey Mitchell currently sitting down in 14th. Qualifying, let's look at the gap to the leader. Not to embarrass anybody, but just look at where people are sitting in their own little groups compared to each other. Michael Harney probably about to put in a decent lap. Corey is going to move himself up barely into the top 10 by just a few 100ths. And your top two are going out on out laps. Steve Zirapo and Craig Ream also on out laps, trying to get back into the top 10. Roman Bykoff inching his way up the grid. There's Daniel and John, I guess, just flashing their lights at people. We can't get a good camera angle of them yet. Perhaps we'll get to see these idiots here. There they are, parked on the right. And Craig Ream on that outlap, not having the best go of it. Steve Zirapo on that outlap, not having the best go of it. Greg keeps it moving. Already put in 2 green sectors for himself. Not purple, but green. Ken Kruger getting into the top 20 mark, Bray down in 24th with that last lap. So some people still finding a little bit of pace out there, although we're seeing a lot of white times come across the tower. Greg's going to set the bar a little bit higher with that one. Let's see how Brian's doing in second place. Only 1 green sector out there. I don't think this is going to be able to do it for him. But he does get closer, actually. Kevin Sandiego sets a lap in the top 10, although I'm not sure if he's going to have a pit lane penalty or not. Sorry, not pit. I keep calling it pit lane penalty. It's the podium penalty. D Briggs. Welcome, D Briggs. I don't know, D Briggs. We got D. Carlos Lopez Jr. gives us a lap. He's up to 16th there. Daniel and John still hanging out. And Tony Phillips jumping way up the grid with a 206 flat puts him in 8th place. Pretty great run there. Matthew Smotherman putting in a killer lap, putting him on the inside of row 2. Not a bad spot to be there. Kevin Sandiego with an off track. And so does Tony Phillips, so maybe they're coming to a stop and going back to the pits. A lot of your top 10 have just moved to the pits at the end of qualifying here, so maybe they're practicing those pit lane entries and exits, which will be so vital, making up some positions. But I'm pretty sure we're going to have another Slipstream Fest, just like Sunday was. Hopefully there's not too much carnage. Ty Johnson right at the death, getting up to 11th there. If anybody is still on a hot lap, they'll be able to finish Corey Mitchell on 13th here, one green sector. Steve Zeropo right out of nowhere, right up to 5th place, grabbing the inside of row 3. Killer end to that one for him. Joseph Mayer with some good sectors out there. Corey's going to try the pit lane entry. Great lap there from Ty Johnson out of nowhere. Craig Ream moving up to 14th, just above Corey with that one. But knowing Corey, he's actually going to have that inside now and get a great jump on Craig, as we've seen a couple times this season, and probably just storm over the entire row that's in front of him. Maybe I'm wrong. Ooh, Roman Bykov right at the death, putting in a good lap, getting up to 18th. Really hard fought positions here as everybody's so closely stacked together. Really got to pull some time out of nowhere. Brian Frick putting in a better lap, but he cannot get off of 28th spot. Joseph Mayer just cruising around. He's heading back to the pits now. Yeah, would have been nice running yesterday. I think Justin Atchison was actually on hot lap, but no, they would have already come across the line and seen the checkered flag. So good to see everybody. Just even if I made the race on Tuesday, would have really just stayed out past their bedtime during qualifying. Probably would have been just extra awkward for me as Roman Bykov completes yet another lap here. Great. All right, let's run down that race grid real quick. So we got our light show. It's Greg Tassos and Brian DeVries on the front row, followed by Matthew Smotherman and D. Briggs, Steve Zeropo and Stan Hammonds, Jonathan Cooper, Tony Phillips, Sam Swan, and Paul Langer. Then we have Ty Johnson, Michael Harney, Craig Ream, Corey Mitchell, Christopher Owens, Justin Atchison, Roman Bykov, Carlos Lopez, Justin Torres, and Troy Banks down there in 20th. Kent Kruger is followed by Joseph Mayer, Bryson Lee, Mark Bray. Thomas Wright running along. Brian Frick Russell Elizondo, and hopefully the rest of the guys. I'm sure we'll see Daniel, Kevin, and John Miller. Very strange that they put Kevin on the grid, but then with the lap time, and then put him back in 30th afterwards. Maybe the admins have figured out how to set that up. Anyways, no, don't press the live button, Eric. That would be very, very bad. I'd be very upset. So, at the beginning of our race session here, a nice, healthy grid out there. Good to see everybody out on track. And we're ready to start rolling here to do our extra long out lap. Oh, and I guess this is a race file, so this is a replay file, so let's just go ahead and speed up the outlap here, since it is not live. We can do such things. And already going on with some blinking. I hope this replay file is going to hold everybody with us. It appears like we do have just about the whole grid. So that is good. One quick second. Let's check out the race info. Still 92 degrees out there. 78 degree air temp. No real wind to speak of. And Thomas Wright and Russell Abraham have jumped to the pits. That is where they're going to start. Those lovely three-dimensional trees that iRacing gives us. Thank you so much, good Robo Lords, for your sweet, sweet fruit of your trees. And we're just about ready to get going, as there's a very late pit entry for this pit straight, you would say. And so we're going to have to wait for that car to go in. Giving him a little bit of distance now. We'll see when Greg is going to punch it. And it sounds like we're off out there. Greg going right on ahead. Brian's going to shuffle in behind him. Everybody's going to come back to the racing line. Matthew Smotherman putting Brian under some pressure for third place there. Corey Mitchell actually just holding station for the moment, believe it or not. Brian's going to hold on to second place there. And a little tap going around the corner. I think that might have been Craig Ream and Ty Johnson. Getting a little squirrely all over the road there. Steve Zierpo heading to the inside, defending against, or trying to get past Mr. Briggs. And everybody pretty much holding station except for John Miller and Daniel Towell and Kevin Sandiego, and those three are just storming through the grid, as you can see here. And coming into the carousel for the first time, this is where things are going to bunch up a little bit with any little understeer moment from the cars ahead will really bunch things up. Back up top, Greg is holding on from Brian. The top four are as they were. Mr. Hammonds has made one place up. Here's Justin Atchison on the rear of Corey Mitchell. And it looks like everybody makes it through the first lap pretty unscathed. Very late on the brakes there, Justin Atchison just having to arrest that car before it murdered Corey Mitchell ahead of him. And another little tap coming out of T2 again. For the moment, everybody seems to be playing nice. Here's Ty Johnson to the inside of Craig Ream. A little squirrely under braking, but he's going to hold on to it. Oh, Michael Harney all over the road going into the wall there. Oh, and oh, good heavens. And that all just lit off real quick, and seemingly nobody slowing down at all. I think we have a very speedy silver bullet there. Let's see exactly what had happened. Michael's going to go right into the wall there and just cannot help himself but just get in the way of traffic there. And quite a few drivers here unable to recognize what was going on. Really sort of slow down at all. Let's see how Roman got so caught up in all of this mess. And he sees him go off up there, and yeah, it wasn't the smartest move to do, and everybody else is getting frustrated and trying to get out of the way. And it's just not the way to do it there. Don't press the live button. Don't press the live button. Oh my God, we almost ruined everything. That was not pretty at all, but here we come down to Canada Corner for the second time. And Matthew's still putting Brian under some pressure. As Steve Zierpo looks like he just got booted. We definitely heard a little bit of contact. he just does it himself as he dips the left wheels onto the grass and just spins it under braking. He's got to be frustrated with himself there. That was not going to feel good at all. No change of position here at the moment. Steve Zierpo finding the track again. Here comes Greg to cross the line and start off lap 3. John Miller doing a great job there, just knowing in traffic, just taking that sort of early apex and diving to the outside curving, as it's going to be a little clogged and congested. He actually got a great run out onto the back straights. Here's Daniel Towell, a couple spots behind him now, and now he's behind Kevin Sandiego even, trying to get some places back himself. And Michael Harney, Roman Bykoff, and Carlos Lopez Jr., who I think might have been that black car that was involved in all that nonsense, returns to the pit. Here's Daniel way late on the brakes, trying to get a move done here on Joseph Mayer, just ahead of him. Kent Kruger going off track side by side with Kevin Sandiego. He's going to have to give that one up, and Daniel's going to say thank you very much and head on through. There wasn't much point in fighting that one for too long. The longer that went on, the more frustrated they were going to get, and less room you were going to be given. So these guys again trying to get to the top of the field. John is in first place for that little fight. He's currently up 14 positions, sitting in 15th place. Although there's no slouches up top letting up at all, as Greg Tassos, Brian Matthew, and D. Briggs running away with it. And here's your top 4 going 2 by 2. And D. Briggs trying to get around the outside of Matthew Smotherman. I think he's made that one up. Greg Tassos under serious pressure. He loses out there. He might even lose 2 as D comes through on the inside. Oh, and just a little tap there, perhaps. We're going to have to bring that one back. Poor D. Briggs on his opening race here with us. And I'm going to say that might have been a little tap as Greg was, yeah, that was a bit of a tap as Greg was wanting to get, sorry, was probably frustrated about losing that position, and didn't want to lose 2. Unfortunately, all the way down in 16th, as there's so many drivers on track. D has lost 13 positions out of that. Actually lost 14, 15 because he was up to 2nd. And Brian DeVries is off track. Let's check out what just happened to him from running in second place. It's just down at the final turn, and he just was pushing too hard, couldn't slow it back down. Oh, he takes a big hit into the wall. Gets back on track just in front of this little battle here. With 8 minutes gone, he might be able to stop for the fuel that he requires. John is going to get this move done on the inside of Troy Banks here. And a little touch there from side-by-side spins Kevin San Diego spinning around a little bit. Let's see what happened. Did Justin start to drift there, or was it something that Kevin was doing? Looks like he did have a bit of a tap. And Kevin just leaving just enough room there. Honestly, though, there is just enough tarmac to keep a Ferrari on there. And I think that around a big carousel, if you're gonna make a move there, you gotta give it a wider berth, to be honest. And here's a nice little pack that's created. That's got Doug Doucette, Joseph Mayer, and Justin Torres involved. Justin trying to keep a spot. And here comes Joe to the inside. So John Miller has made it into the top 10. Daniel just outside of it. Got a couple more guys just in front of him. Corey Mitchell, Tony Phillips, and Paul Langer. Bryson will be a tough cookie to get past, even if you're faster. Here comes John Miller trying to give Corey Mitchell the business. Here comes Daniel down to T2. Corey very early on the brakes both times. Here's Bryson running right down the middle of the road, really making it difficult for D. And it was effective as he retains that position down the pit straight. Bryson Lee still holding on to that spot, being a tough nut to crack, sort of clogging up the works too while they're at it, wasting a lot of time. Paul's really pushing out there, takes a little bit of dirt on his exit, but holds it together. Here comes Tony, though, to his inside. He does not outbrake him. He's just going to hold on to that thing. Sorry, that... No, I'm getting all confused myself. Everybody, as I said, is probably going to come into the pits at the same time. These two have decided they can go one more lap without stopping. Everyone else, though, has come into the pits. I do wonder why it took Greg so long to get to his pit spot, as Matthew Smotherman pits in the lead. When it's all said and done, Greg is exiting back here in 10th place. Don't quite know what happened with his entry. Last time I looked just a moment ago, he had a 1.5 second lead up top. And Troy Banks, of course, the other driver to stay out. Andrew Durkis is just coming to the pits, and there you see him putting some times down. So anywhere from 14.1 from Sam Swan there, up to 17 seconds. 17.6 from Mr. Briggs. 17.8 from Ty Johnson. I swear I have Daniel's picture somewhere on this computer. Oh, Mr. Briggs not having a warm welcoming race thus far. Bit of a bummer there. As Kemp was just next to him. Oh, and he just I think he had made it through the first tap, but the second tap was not nice. You can't even see him over there. But heck, it definitely sounded like an incident, quite an ordeal. Carlos really fighting him there. Craig Ream spinning around. Let's see what had just happened to him. Looked like down at Canada corner. These guys just drove past him. And he just totally goofed it under braking there. Went way too, he's cooking it way too hot in that corner. And let's see if that pit stop did these guys any favors. Made up a couple spots. Ty Johnson perhaps getting around the outside. He's up to 6th and 7th respectively there for those guys, so I'd say they made up a couple spots, and there's definitely more to be gained just ahead of them. Troy Banks comes out of the pits just next to Carlos Lopez. You can see, he's going to try to save it to the inside. He's not. He's cutting back over to the racing line, seeing if Carlos wants to outbrake himself. Oh, he almost just gave him a little touch there on the rear bumper. They both keep moving, though. Steve has gotten that move done cleanly. Here's Ty Johnson just ahead of John still, being under some pressure. Stan is 1.1 off the lead. 25 minutes down. On for a podium in his first race here. Oh my goodness, what a moment there. As he and John Miller go spinning towards the fences. Up, and that dreaded left side into the grass under braking. Does it for both of them. John actually keeps it moving. He uses the momentum of the bounce off of the wall. It's back on the black stuff in a matter of seconds. As they come down the straight, Ty's going to dip the left wheels here. Oh, he really dips them. He almost swinging far to the left. Getting very distracted by the approaching John Miller next to him there. Oh, and John struggling to hold on to that thing. He's got some serious suspension damage. He's going to have to head back to the pits. Finding it very difficult to hold on. And it is a long, long pit lane here, which is going to feel like an eternity for John as he slips out of the top 10. Falling down and down. And 17th at the moment. Greg Tasso starting to make up some of those positions he bizarrely lost in the pit lane, it seemed. And Doug having a little off track there through T1. It's going to cost him a place as Joseph was hounding him down anyways. Paul trying that daring move we saw around the outside. Ended in tears for Kevin Sandiego. Covering off the inside there. He wants to take that line. He's going to force Greg over to the racing line. And Greg's just going to have to slingshot it around the outside, but he's too much and he goes wide, and that's going to be an invitation as Paul Langer just about gathers it in time ahead of Tony Phillips, who is also going to make up a spot on Greg. And that day is just getting worse for him. He's got himself even more work to do now. Matthew running up top, 9 minutes to go. He's got 2 seconds over Stan. He's got 2+ on Jonathan Cooper here. Daniel Towell has managed to get by Sam Swan, so he's not far off of a podium today from the back of the stack, which is pretty impressive given the number of drivers we had on track. Unfortunately, teammate John Miller all the way down in 19th spot after that collision with Ty. Troy Banks seemed to lose a couple positions there, maybe just getting off track or something. Great calm, reserved battle there from Russell, making sure he's not going to overcook it and slide across and murder Doug. As I say all the time, I murdered Doug one time. In a big long carousel, just let it go for some weird reason. Just drifted into him. Lap 1. Stan had a little off track there for a moment, but I think he's gathered it up. He's going to keep going. Greg's still unable to make a position up, but they've been able to catch Corey at least. Now, I hope watching this today inspires. Oh, as Greg gets real wide there, having to get out of the way under braking. Oh, and inspires some people to drive the supercars. They are super fun, I'll tell you what. And if there was ever a track that people enjoyed, the long straights is the way to drive them. This is definitely it. Greg again with a big off-track under braking. He's going to lose one to Kevin San Diego there too. He's still in the top 10, but he can't afford to do that again. And there's Paul with his own little off-track. It's going to put him under pressure from Tony coming on the inside. Paul so close to that grass on the left, just like everyone else, about to wipe someone out. And Bryson has Russell right behind him, but as we saw earlier, Bryson is a tough cookie to get through. Won't make it easy for anybody. Sends it around the outside after missing the lap car of Dan Fending. Oh, and Kevin San Diego with a crash out here. Let's see what happened to him. Did he just come out of that turn sliding down to turn 2? Sending it in there. Oh, and getting on the power a little bit early. Just too much juice. And Ty Johnson and Craig Ream just barely avoiding him, going either side of him. It's Troy Banks who decides to take it easy and not push the issue. Kevin, even though he was slower down the straights, of course. And Russell still fighting hard to get that spot. He's lost a little bit of ground there. He's probably going to have to get out of it. For this turn, which has a great name, very fitting name, Hurry Downs. I just love that. That's exactly what's for. Here's Steve Zirapo out of nowhere too, trying to get involved in this battle, as it looks like Russell's finally made it around the outside just before. Oh, and Steve really wants to put his nose in there around the carousel. You can tell these guys really starting to struggle with that tire wear at the moment. Don't really trust themselves coming through Canada corner. Here's Paul Langer, though, who's just been having a great race. He recovered it well. Corey's up 8 positions, having a good race himself. And Daniel is still about 6.5 seconds off of the podium, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get up there today with 2.5 remaining. Oh, and Steve Ziripo somehow getting really loose back there. Oh, and at a T1, he just had no grip. It was very strange. At least it pointed him in the correct direction. There goes Craig Ream down the inside to Ty Johnson. Very brave at this stage of the race. Under braking, just 1 more minute to go. And this will be our final race lap here as Matthew comes through T2 just ahead of Stan Hammonds and Jonathan Cooper. Oh, and something has happened to Sam Swan. It might just be a drive-through penalty, though. The 17X will do that for you. And Kevin chucking it down the inside of T1 on Ty Johnson. And Sam Swan maybe is going to need a little bit extra fuel. I think that was somebody, it might have been Sam actually, who had that shorter pit stop down around 14 seconds. It's just not going to cut it. Lose a bunch of positions. He's down to 20th already. Such a long pit lane. So that's going to put Corey up into 5th place. Up 9 at the moment. Pretty nice to make one up for free when you're seeing the white flag. And Matthew Smotherman coming around Canada corner for his final time. Here's Tony Phillips on Paul Langer. This is going to be probably one of his final moments to try to make a move. Looks like he might just be too far back at the moment. Kevin Sandiego has fought up to the top 10. He's trying to make it into the top 9 at the moment with a last-minute move on Craig Ream, who's going to hug to the inside. And it looks like Kevin braves it out around the outside. Corey is going to guide these guys home. A killer battle from everybody. Felt like an endurance race. I think Bryson might need a little push. That's what's going on here towards the end of the race. Congratulations to those 3 podium winners this week of Matthew Smotherman, Stan Hammonds, and Jonathan Cooper. Congratulations to anybody who survived this nightmare today. It was a bust up. Let's run down those race results real quick while we got them. And it looks like Ken Kruger is out of this lobby already, so our replay file is over. We have Matthew Smotherman up top, Jonathan Cooper, followed by Daniel Towell. And then we have, oh goodness, I guess Stan Hammonds, dropping him down the order somewhere else. Maybe he had a penalty or something. We have Daniel, you know what? No, he was in the right group. Anyways, I have no idea what's going on with that. And Daniel Towell, followed by Corey Mitchell, Paul Langer, Tony Phillips, Greg Tassos, Kevin San Diego, Craig Ream, and Ty Johnson in the top 10. Troy Banks was followed by Justin Torres, Russell Abraham, John Miller, Ken Kruger, Steve Zirapo, Joseph Mayer, Carlos Lopez Jr., Bryson Lee, Sam Swan, Doug Doucette, Mark Bray, Brian Frick, Andrew Durkis, Roman Bykov, Russell Elizondo, Michael Harney, Dan Fendick, and Thomas Wright. What a race. So many drivers out there. A lot of retirements as well. Let's do our own version of our championship standings. And Matthew Smotherman retaining up top, followed by John Miller. Greg Tassos sitting in third, followed by Daniel Towell. Kevin San Diego rounding out the top 5. As always, make sure you hit that thumbs down button. Never subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell an even number of times. We will actually see you right back here in just a few hours. Oh, an hour and a half for the Supercars tonight. Oh, take it easy, everybody. We'll see you then.